A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. One followed by the word Spot and Media.
Up first this evening, there are complaints from some business people in Montego Bay at the shutting down of certain nightlife activities in the city is affecting the country's main tourism exchange earner, tourism, and foreign exchange earner, tourism, and leaving a bitter taste in the mouths of visitors.
And these two popular club operators in Montego Bay believe special consideration should have been given to ensure their business continues and visitors enjoying their stay. TVJ's Kirk Wright has a primetime news exclusive.
On Fridays, visitors flock Pier 1 on the waterfront in Montego Bay. Busloads from hotels begin arriving at 10. Inside, the energy is high, so some visitors warm up from the outside. Under the state of emergency, opening hours for businesses and places of amusement are drastically reduced. Clubs in the city are usually in full swing until 4 in the morning. Now, they have to shut down at midnight. And the cops arrived just in time to ensure the law is upheld. A girls' night out for Bride cut short. The group was on their way out no sooner after arriving. When asked, the bride and her team said they knew nothing about Mobe being under a state of emergency. They left disappointed, not wanting to comment. Others vented their frustration.
I'm sad. I've been waiting and waiting to do this for a long time. So I love Pier 1. It's my favorite place.
My feelings were hurt because I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So, we party till, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's my birthday, so I thought I was going to party later, but it's 12 and we're already ending. So I really would have loved to stay because it was so much fun. The DJ was great though. We really had fun, but I wish we could have stayed later.
Wildfire was a bit more understanding.
It was disappointing, but, if I guess the law is the law.
Jason Russell supports the restrictions on state of emergency to help curb Mobe's crime. But he thinks since they spend hard-earned cash to vacation in Jamaica, they should be given preferential treatment.
They sign contracts, and that contract is booking a vehicle, paying for it up front, coming to Jamaica and expecting fun and sun and the nicest trip they're going to get in their lives, and that's what we've sold them. To me, it's very important that we fulfill that promise, even though we have personal problems, local problems that we must address.
At close to midnight, when the DJ at the Moods nightclub should be inside pumping the music, he's outside with nothing to do. Still, there are flashing lights and music inside, and the dancers have all turned up to strut their stuff. But with no patrons, there is no vibe.
Right now, boss, nothing now go on. It's very bad. From last night till now, nobody will get inside. We're just here by ourselves. They make the business bad, very bad. The time when them give us a close, that's the time when people would have just come out. So we're just here, just looking, nothing more to do.
Andrew, an employee at the club, says before the state of emergency, the club would swing at nights into the wee hours. He feels it's unfair that the club has to suffer. Andrew thinks there should be a balance.
Them know who them are look for and them know who do all the wrongs. The club now do nothing wrong.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
In the meantime, despite business operators' complaints and warnings from the Canadian, British and U.S. governments that their citizens should exercise caution in St. James, the visitors from those countries say they do not feel threatened. TVJ's Anthony Lugg has that story.
Strong police military presence in volatile communities in Montego Bay, as well as different sections of the town. All parts of the state of public emergency. But on the hip strip, in the center of the town, not so intense. Just a handful of police patrolling as tourists walk the streets just to get a glimpse of what Jamaica has to offer, despite St. James being under a state of public emergency. But as the security forces go in search of guns, wanted men, and clamp down on other illegal activities, countries like the UK and Canada have since issued advisories warning citizens about crime in Jamaica. Those advisories did not stop some visitors, however.
I wasn't worried. I've been here twice before, and I haven't had an issue either time I've been here before, so I wasn't worried coming back.
We're here, we're safe, everything's okay, that we can be here, it's fine.
But while the visitors we spoke with felt safe, Here's what Rabbi Yaakov Raskin, who owns the kosher hotspot, observes.
Normally it is busier. I don't know if tourists are told not to go out on the streets or something, but it has been quieter. But thank God, God has been here.
So too for Lisa McLeod, who owns a store in the area.
When the tourists arrive, they don't want to come on the hip strip. They're scared. They stay in the hotel. Even when the cruise ship comes, they don't want to come off the cruise ship.
But if what these business operators are saying is true, how do they know this?
When they come, they tell us. Yes, and sometimes when you ask them like to go in the shop, they're scared. They brief them on the ship where to go and what to do.
Rabbi Yaakov Raskin says persons overseas have called expressing concern.
I always encourage visitors who always tell me, they'll call me from abroad, should we come to Jamaica? I say Jamaica is safe. It's lovely people. It's a beautiful island. Come. You know, there is a few crime, but it's between a few people, and it's controlled. It did get out of control this week, but I'm happy right away the government took the caution.
Tova Gazen, who resides in Canada, says many persons have been misguided, but that can change.
One person at a time will make a positive change. If everybody's afraid to come here, then there won't be any change. But the more people that speak out and talk about what's going on, then that's when positive change can happen.
Anthony Lugg, TPJ News.
Now, despite what tourists are saying, Jamaica's tourism product continues to get negative publicity in Canada following the declaration of the state of emergency in St. James last week. City News in Toronto on Sunday aired a report of a woman and her family who faced to cancel their winter vacation in Montego Bay. The family has decided to go to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic in the wake of the state of emergency and the Canadian government issuing a travel advisory.
Persona and Vaughan, where one woman was looking forward to a winter vacation in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Now, that vacation was thrown into question after the country was declared a state of emergency. The Canadian government even issued a travel advisory. Now, when the government issues warnings, it's up to airlines to help their passengers rethink their plans, but that experience didn't go so smoothly for Crystal Kamande and her family, who booked with Air Canada Vacations.
A vacation we've been looking forward to since July became a total nightmare.
A nightmare, all because of the rise in violence in St. James Parish, which includes the tourist hotspot Montego Bay.
So, me being a parent, traveling with 2 small children, a group of us traveling with about 5 or 6 small children, we didn't want to travel to Montego Bay. We reached out to Air Canada Vacations, who shut us down, telling us it's business as usual. You can travel to Montego Bay or you can lose your whole package for $5,700.
Crystal says she spent hours on the phone, and despite having travel insurance, she couldn't negotiate with the airline. 3 other families who were traveling with them through WestJet were able to get a full credit for their trip without a problem.
We weren't asking for our money. We wanted a credit just to go to a safer destination. So how can one airline and another airline treat their passengers so different? It's not fair.
We reached out to Air Canada. In an email, they say they implemented a policy yesterday for customers who no longer wish to go to Montego Bay. They tell travelers, if you're scheduled to travel between January 19 and January 31st, you may contact Air Canada Reservations to change your flight free of charge to another date between now and February 14th, subject to availability in the cabin you originally purchased. Otherwise, any fare difference will apply. One passenger advocate says that response isn't ideal.
What Air Canada has done so falls short of what I would consider reasonable in the circumstances, but I cannot say with a good conscience that there is a clear rule that they are breaking.
An AK-47 rifle and a handgun are the latest find for the security forces 5 days into the state of emergency in St. James. The weapons, along with ammunition, were found on Rifle Lane in Flanker Monday morning. It is not clear if anyone was held in connection with the find. This find brings to 4 the number of illegal guns reportedly found in St. James since the state of public emergency was declared in St. James last Thursday. In the meantime, a release issued by the security forces, headlined JDF, says its tip hotline is a success. The hotline 837-8888 is proving to be extremely valuable. Major Basil Jarrett points out that persons should be wary of information they see on social media. On the weekend, a number of photos of men listed as wanted in St. James were circulated on social media bearing the JDS hotline number and slogan, "Take Back St. James." It is still not clear if that list is authentic. People have also called our news center, outlining that their relatives and friends are being detained at the Freeport police lockup. It's understood that some of those detained are refusing meals. Legal aid attorneys say they have not been able to provide assistance to those held in detention centers so far. President of the Cornwall Bar Association, Stacey Ann Young, says that is because there is no system in place at the centers to accommodate legal aid attorneys.
Meanwhile, the police are reporting that close to 200 persons have been taken into custody over a 3-day period in St. James. In a news release a short while ago, the JCF's Corporate Communications Unit noted that several operations were conducted throughout the parish. This has resulted in the arrest of approximately 200 persons. 8 persons were arrested for a shooting incident along Sunset Boulevard, where a man was killed and 2 others injured. 2 persons were also taken into custody in relation to a shooting death of a man in Ironshore, while 3 other persons have been charged with misdemeanors. The release further states that 111 persons remain in custody, 10 of whom are charged with varying offenses to include shootings and murders.
Meanwhile, anthropologist Dr. Herbert Gale revealed that a preliminary audit on the gangs in Montego Bay, St. James, has revealed nothing new about the root cause of crime and violence in the West. He was speaking on Smile Jamaica this morning. TVJ's Janella Precious reports.
According to Dr. Gale, the first major study on gang violence was conducted in 1997. 2 decades later, there's been little change as it relates to what's triggering crime. As was discovered then and continues to affect the country now, violence, he says, is a byproduct of social ills.
If you picture having, say, a leakage in sewage, a sewage leakage, it has a lock-off at the top that you have to lock off. But everybody's at the bottom with mapping up because you're having visitors. That's how we address violence in Jamaica. Nobody has gone up to the lock-off to say, let's lock this off. We need the proper tools because it has an all-in key. So we need the proper tools, we need training, we need all of these to lock this off.
And although he's hailed efforts like the current state of emergency, he maintains that it's not enough.
And so forth. But in Jamaica, our plans are wanting now. Want to come down a beer now. I mean, these are the voices of people I'm listening to. I'm glad then they are no. And there's a no. And I keep saying, drop off the W of that because it's a no. And people are not getting it. Because even if you do that, somebody has to do several things. Close the gap between boy and girl enrollment.
It's why Dr. Gale contends every effort should be made to keep boys in school.
A child who's out of school in a war zone is 10 times more likely to shoot somebody or to be shot at.
And while blame is being leveled at politicians, Dr. Gale also argues that the business community should take some responsibility.
Politicians usually get a negative grade. So that's another kettle of fish. But I'm saying, if you take all the institutions that are supposed to be carrying a society forward, right? The corporate citizens have not done well in every area that has high violence. There is no apprenticeship. There's no structured mentorship. When we interview young people and we ask how many of you have received help from a business person in your community, it's usually about 12%.
Janella Precious News.
A top story this evening: stifling tourism stakeholders argue visitor Montego Bay